sponsored by Club 1888 of the YWCA volunteer program. And I am so excited today because this is an empowerment series where volunteer hosts, we all interview amazing women in our community. And today I'm so excited. Please give it up with me as we welcome Rachel Taylor with us. Good afternoon, Rachel. How are you?
Hi, how are you? Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm really excited to be here and talking with you today.
You know, it is so amazing. We have so many amazing women here in the Capital Region community of New York State that are doing things. I know I'm global. I know you do things well beyond this region. But you know what? The more that we are all about women, helping women, building women, empowering to be our best. And it takes all of us collectively together to do that. So, wow, I'm so excited. You have some wonderful background. So tell everyone a little bit about yourself, if you would.
Yeah, so my name's Rachel Taylor. I own a virtual health and wellness company called Gold Digger Coaching Services. I'm a 100% single mom to the most amazing and most talented, fabulous daughter, Molly. I know I gush, but she amazes me every day. She never ceases to amaze me.
Little girls are the best.
They are. They're great. And she's just awesome. I grew up in this area. So I'm very, I graduated out of Stillwater High School, very small school. I went to college later in life, actually. I did not go back to college until I was in my late 20s, graduated in my 30s. I went to the College of St. Rose, where I received my elementary education degree. I did some substitute teaching for a while, but my primary, what I've been doing for most of my life, I did other little odds and ends things, tried them out, but I was an administrative assistant, executive assistant for pretty much most of my career, from my 20s up until probably my late 40s, at least. And so that's what my primary thing has been up until really about the last almost 2 years.
Wow. So you've had, and the nice thing is sometimes when you go back to school a little later, your mind and your whole being, who you are, a little bit about who you are and what you're looking for.
Here's an interesting thing. So my entire life growing up, I never thought I was smart. I actually had a teacher who told me in second grade that I was not a smart kid. And that pretty much triggered my entire academic career, my entire life. So when I went back to college in my late 20s, I actually made Dean's List, and I realized I was smart. I didn't know I was smart. I just assumed I wasn't one of those smart people.
You bring up such a great part, a great thing, because, education is such an influence, but adults do not, in general, realize the impact that one sentence can make positively or negatively on a child's life and what stays with them. So, I think we've all had those moments, but we're going to keep this positive. So switch that around. That was a negative experience that you switched, and kudos to you. But let me ask you this. Switch it around.
Sure.
Who was the person who inspired you the most when you were young?
Believe it or not, it was my first grade teacher, Mrs. McCarthy. I actually, when I went back to do student teaching, she was the very first teacher that I asked if I could do student teaching with and observation with. She was a brand new, fresh teacher. She actually, when I started first grade, I think I was her first class she had ever had starting as a teacher. She was dynamic. She was colorful. She was loud and she was amazing. And to this day, I still talk about Mrs. McCarthy because she was amazing to me. And I wanted to be Mrs. McCarthy. And that has always stayed with me to this day. So I'm 51 and I still have amazing, fond memories of her.
And I call those threads of life because you always want to read those positive threads that really influenced you in your life and weave them into everything that you do, probably as a mother.
Yes.
And as a businesswoman and as a person. And so that's great. Would you consider her also your best or greatest mentor, or was there somebody else who has been your big mentor?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I knew this question was coming and I really had to think about it. And I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't have a mentor until I was in my late 40s. And that's my own health coach who mentored me. She really has, knowing the person that I was when I started health coaching and to who I am now, she has guided me. She helps me. She's my business mentor as well. So honestly, my coach Julie is my biggest mentor, and and I kind of think of her as a sister. So
it's interesting when we look at our lives have many layers. And I too started my career in education. And now I speak, I write books, and I've owned a lot of companies and global companies. But you take all those wonderful skills and people say, oh, well, what happened when you did that? Why did you switch? And it's like, I didn't switch.
Yeah.
I use a lot of those same skills in speaking, interviewing, everything that I do with writing.
Yep.
Same thing with you. You have made a big switch from your teaching
Yes.
to now your health coaching.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about what do you like most about that coaching, and what are some of the greatest skill sets that you've taken and pulled from education, from people, and just all of that, if you would.
So the greatest thing I love about health coaching is knowing that I'm helping other people. Our health world right now is in a real turmoil and struggle.
Absolutely.
And the fact that I know that what I am doing is helping empower people take control of their own health and take control of their own health for the rest of their lives, because that's what I am. I'm all about just not here and now. It's a lifelong process. And that really kind of ties into how education is. Education is a lifelong process. We grow and we continue to learn. But, educating my clients on, these are the behaviors and patterns, and these are the healthy habits that you can create. That really is how education and health coaching tie together. I'm helping educate people to go beyond and to really create these healthy mindsets, which is exactly, as a teacher, what I wanted to create for my students as well.
And you bring up a great point, because two things you're always in control of are your attitude and your mindset.
Yes.
And, if you start with a positive mindset and an attitude, have an attitude filled with gratitude. But it's moving people's, it's helping them shift that mindset. And especially this past year, I think has been really, really challenging. So do you find most of your women, your people that you coach, to be women or men, or tell us about
I actually have a healthy mix.
That's great.
Yeah, I have maybe if I did it statistically, I would probably say maybe more women, but I honestly, since I started health coaching, have had a very healthy mix of men and women, husbands and wives. I've coached husband and wife teams before. I've coached some teens. I've actually helped my daughter with her health journey because she's an athlete, so I can kind of help and help her grow. So it really it's all over the place. And I have a healthy broad, I have clients that are biathletes and triathletes, and I have clients that I'm trying to help just be able to just get up off the couch and walk to their mailbox and grow from there. So it's a really wide range.
So describe, because I'm not sure everybody who's listening or viewing us today understands exactly what a health coach is. So can you just kind of go through the top 3 elements and share those so we have a greater understanding?
We have what's called a trilogy. It's healthy mind, healthy body, healthy finances. It's very easy. And I tell all my clients this, is that we don't focus on weight loss. We focus on keeping the weight off. And it's very easy. So when I'm coaching a client, from the neck down is the easiest piece of the healthy journey. It's the neck up, which is the healthy mind, that is the most difficult component to work, because it's very easy. You can follow any program and lose weight. It's the what do you do when you get there? And I know because I've struggled my entire life with weight. So I totally get that. But it's really creating the healthy mind is developing these healthy mindsets, understanding, your triggers and all of that. But the healthy finances comes in where you're developing a community, and by really giving back what you've learned through the healthy mind, healthy body, and starting coaching others, because we can't get out there and start helping everybody and help ourselves. We need to help others as well. I hope I made sense of that.
What I love about that, and absolutely. So it's a whole person approach.
Yes, it's absolutely. It's not just a one and done thing. It's a program that's
It's
tailored
inside,
to the needs.
outside, and all around.
And I honestly 90% of it is all up here.
Well, there's no question. And I work a lot all over the world with leadership image and building people's brand, their image, and helping people the same way understand it's inside, outside, and all around you. But one of the things that I just loved about what you just said, and is something that I love to talk about too, is we were talking about mentors before, and you're putting an automatic component in your health coaching for people to pay it forward by paying it backwards. And you know what? Because we all have had people like your teachers who have believed in us before we believed in ourselves. So as you're helping people to believe in themselves and everything they're doing, you're saying, pass it on. Pass it on, because we need to get this down to our children and our youth. You're a mother, I'm a mother, and we need to do more in building our children up at every level. So kudos to you. That is a wonderful, wonderful thing. And if you are listening and watching this today, I encourage you, for whatever you are doing, that you take this example of Rachel and incorporate whatever you're doing, and having your clients also pass it backwards and pay it forward. But, that is great. So here's a question for you. And if you know me, you know I love questions. What advice would you give your 21-year-old self?
Yes. Stop stressing out. I honestly, I worried, and I've said this to my daughter many times. We've talked about a lot of things. I worried so much about my life and what was going to happen. And I lived so much of my life in fear that I missed out on most of my life. And for example, I had an opportunity. I had gone and gotten my associates when I was like 19, and that was fine. But I had an opportunity to work in Disney for a semester. And I passed on it because I was so afraid of things that didn't even exist. What could happen? I'm living in Florida. My parents are up here, and blah, 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 blah. And I talked myself out of it. And I, to this day, kick myself at not taking those opportunities. So I guess I just, believe in yourself. Don't stress out about the future. You can only control yourself in that moment, and everything will come. And I guess that's the best thing, because I live my life in so much stress and fear, and I let that get the best of me. And I've kind of kicked it to the curb as I've gotten older and I've gotten more into myself. And so that's really the best advice I can give to anybody. Do not live in fear, and just don't stress. Don't stress. It will all work out.
It's absolutely true. And being a teenager or going through those years is tough under the most perfect of circumstances. But, you're learning so much about yourself. One of the things I like to talk about when you look at fear is I use the acronym FACE EVERYTHING and RISE. So that's what the only thing you have to fear is fear itself. So face everything and rise. And that comes from believing in you and believing in the person you are and liking yourself.
And I didn't get that until, I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't like myself, and I wasn't not comfortable with myself until I was probably in my 40s. It took a long time for me to come into my own confidence, come into my thing. I was not, I may have faked it, but I was not a confident person growing up. And I did not, but I am so comfortable in my shoes now. And I try to project that to my daughter. And that's what but it took me a long time to learn that too. It's not an easy skill. And I can go to a restaurant and sit by myself and be comfortable now.
Oh, I remember when I first started traveling, that was a goal I had. I started traveling, and the first year I traveled, I refused to allow myself to order room service. It was like, I will go in, and I still do. I will go into a 5-star restaurant if that's what I feel like eating or dining. It's perfectly, fine. So my question to you is, with your confidence, was there a turning point specifically that you would say started to make that shift for you?
A lot of it was getting my head on straight, I guess is the best way to put it. Just really understanding that I cannot live my life for other people. And that, and I tell my daughter this too. I say this a lot, but I do. My daughter and I talk a lot.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah. And and the reason is because if I live my life the way someone else wants me to live my life, they're going to go along and they're going to be fine. They're living their own life, but then I'm living my life through them. And so I kind of put it into the perspective of, like I said, I've always been a 100% single mom. And I think a lot of that has played a key factor in knowing that I am raising this child, and I needed to raise this child to be far more confident and have the empowerment to do things and stand up for herself way more than I ever did growing up. And I think that was a lot what came into the play of that. But it took me a long time in getting my head on straight to get there. So,
well, kudos to you. You've gotten there. And you know what? The great thing about parenthood is, if you don't like the childhood that you had, and it wasn't perfect, and mine was far from perfect.
Yeah.
I like to say I wove a lot of different elements from other friends' mothers or different things into how I wanted to be a mother.
Yes.
And so when you have a child, you get to design parenthood and motherhood on your terms, the way you want your child to grow up, not necessarily the way that you grow up. So think about all the things that you are doing that are positive and what you wish somebody had done for you, and you're doing it. So kudos. You are just so amazing. So what advice do you want to tell other women?
This is something that we say in the whole health coaching industry, and it's always stuck with me. And it really has really kind of resonated with me, which is fall in love with recognizing the drunk monkey is a liar. And what I mean by that is we call it the drunk monkey, which he's telling you things that aren't necessarily true about, I can't run my own business. I can't live on my own. I can't be a single mom. I can't, climb Mount Everest. The drunk monkey's lying to you. And if you let it control you, then you will. So fall in love with recognizing that he's drunk and he's lying to you. So
that I've never heard before.
Yes. The drunk monkey is a liar.
The drunk monkey is a liar. So here's a question, and it's not a question. What is an interview question that you've never been asked that you think that everybody that should be asked, and what is your response?
Okay. So even though I'm a health coach, this is going to sound funny, but what M&Ms can you be bribed with? I love peanut M&Ms, and I always tell my daughter that I could be bribed with peanut M&Ms. So that's probably the best interview question is, how can you be bribed, and with what M&Ms can you be bribed with?
Ooh, certain colors or any color will do.
Green. The green ones taste better.
They make the difference. And why is that?
I don't know. I've always been partial to the green ones. Who knows?
That's an interesting question and into it. So, One of the things I like to talk about with all of us, each of us is unique. And I like to use, instead of UN, YOU. So
Mm-hmm.
each of us is unique and none of us is the same. And, we, each of us has our own DNA, our image, everything we do is unique to us. So
Mm-hmm.
I can't copy you. You can't copy me.
Right.
We can have elements and threads that weave in together. What do you consider to be some of your great, unique characteristics?
Well, besides the fact that I have this really insane addiction to Golden Girls, I love that show. I know it's kind of, it's going to be a weird one, but I have a very sarcastic sense of humor, which I have, amazingly have passed on to my daughter. But I use it to kind of be an icebreaker. My goal is to, when I meet people, is to make them feel relaxed, and the other thing is when we could have people over at our house, if you come to my house is your house. And so if you're hungry, there's the cabinet, go to the snack cabinet. If you're thirsty, there's the thing. Not that I wouldn't be a nice hostess, but my goal is I want everybody to feel welcome, feel relaxed. And I think that that's kind of what is unique to me and even with my daughter, when she had friends over, I'd be like, this is the snack cabinet. This is a refrigerator. If you want something, go for it. You don't need to ask me. And that's kind of what I want, is like kind of that welcoming open door.
And that's great, and I always love that. We were the gathering house for our daughter growing up. And that's the only advice I give to parents. If you really want to connect with your kids and their friends, be the place that everybody likes to come.
Yep.
And you learn so much information too.
Exactly.
So tell me, what is your secret talent or your special sauce?
Oh, boy, my secret talent.
You're a shiro,
I'm a shiro. I like that. That's really good. I think my secret talent is, it's more on a personal level, is that I just kind of keep recreating myself. So my newest thing is like, this is the year of trying everything that I've always wanted to try. So I'm going to build myself a greenhouse this year. I'm going to try gardening. Most plants come to my house to die. But it is the year of doing whatever I want to do. Finding out things. I'm going to take a photography class. So it's everything that I've ever wanted to do. And I think that's my unique and hidden thing, is that there's so many things in life, and I'm sick and tired of watching the life go by. So it's all about grabbing the bull by the horns and going for it. And I think
that is so perfect, because life is all about finding your purpose and passion, and that doesn't mean it can't shift and change, or you have to substitute one for the other. But being a lifelong learner, being curious. I love really talking to people about having the curiosity and sense of wonder of a 5-year-old.
Yep.
And I love that you're gardening. I got into the gardening bug many years ago. That's a whole different story. Now I'm a gardening addict. My hands, after this interview, I will be in my gardens late this afternoon, digging in dirt, and my hands, for the first time this season, will probably be very happy.
There you go.
So what is something you're most excited to do as we open up through this whole COVID experience?
Oh my gosh. I just want to reach out and get a hold of so many people and show them that just by nutrition, you can change the trajectory of your life.
That is so powerful.
I kid you not. Before I became a health coach, my doctor told me it wasn't a matter of if I have a heart attack, but when. Most women don't survive their first heart attacks. And I was constantly having anxiety, stress. I was having massive headaches. I got my nutrition in line. And let me tell you, I started sleeping. And I changed my life. I know I'm going to be here for my daughter. And I just want to reach out to as many people as I can and let them know nutrition can just simple changing of your nutrition can change your life in ways you don't even know. And it can change how you think too and give you clarity. And that's my whole purpose this year, is just to scream from the rooftops, get the nutrition in line, and your life will start kind of coming in. And
that is powerful and so giving. So what is the best advice you've ever received?
That your past is not your prison, it's your university, which means that you can't, it would have been very easy for me to stay trapped in what I knew. But what I did was I took the stuff that I knew and I turned it and I said, okay, this is learning. And now I'm going forward. And that's really probably the best advice I ever got.
And that is really strong, powerful advice. You know, the YWCA does so much. What is your engagement with the YWCA?
Well, I've met Kendra through a business networking organization that she and I both belong to. And for what the YWCA does for the community is very near and dear to my heart, because I love being able to reach out and help people, empower women, especially their families, especially. And I'm just really looking forward to becoming much more involved as the year moves on. So that's where I come into play.
Absolutely. In Club 1888, we're looking forward to much more gatherings live moving forward. So I've got to ask, for everybody who's viewing and listening, what's the best way for people to connect with you?
I am on Facebook.
Okay.
Under my name, Rachel Taylor. So you'll see my face. I don't look that much different, but yeah. So in Facebook, you can find me under Rachel Taylor, and you can check out and see what I do and what I'm about. And I am all about creating healthy mindsets and empowering people, man or women. So,
and that is amazing. You know, this has been just such a wonderful interview, and I
love it.
So enjoyed our time together.
Same here.
I love all the shifts in your life, all that you're doing, all the changes that you've done, all the growth that you've had, your motherhood, what you're doing for so much, for so many. It has been my honor and pleasure to have you here as a guest today on the Butterfly Effect. For the YWCA. Is there anything else you want to add before our time together departure?
It's just that it is never too late to change your trajectory, and that just remember, you always have the power, and don't ever give it away. So thank you so much for having me. I've really enjoyed our conversation today.
Well, thank you. And so I'm Sharon Burstein, and we have been talking with Rachel Taylor here, who is a health life coach. She has been giving us just wonderful coaching and life advice. And so for all of you, we wish you a happy, inspired day. Go forth, share your love of the world and people with everyone, and practice acts of kindness. I think we both would agree that that is so important to everyone.
I agree.
So thank you, Rachel, and thank you all our listeners and viewers, and stay tuned again to the Butterfly Effect, and be actively engaged with the YWCA Club 1888 and all that the Y.
Bye, everybody.